Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we are in the Eastern Jungle building a mini castle using no mods, so without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, I started off with of course the base plate. You can see the blueprint on screen now, and it's a relatively simple and solid design that utilises corner towers and buttresses to diversify the core shape that makes up the build and to make the overall design more interesting. I used stable fence foundations to build up the base plate according to the blueprint, drawing out the rooms to match, and then I covered the fence foundations using Khitan ceilings on the defensive walls and outdoor sections, and frontier ceilings on the interior, with pillars underneath to give full support. Next, for the walls. My initial thought was to use entirely arena on the ground floor, however once I'd built the walls up I realised there was actually a better option. I chose to keep the arena walls on the exterior, but to add a bit more of an interesting contrast, I removed the interior walls and replaced them with Nemedian. Both are quite similar in terms of composition, texture and tone, but the Nemedian option allows things to feel a bit more homely on the inside and creates some nice contrast on the smaller scale when you compare the two. Once I'd finished the walls, I built the stairs on the right side of the entrance hall and covered the top of the walls with frontier ceilings. Next, I covered the exterior walls and built a rear staircase to access them. I used Khitan ceilings to cover the walls, and then I constructed the two-way stairs in the rear closed corridor. From there, I decided to raise the defensive wall up slightly by one tile, starting at the middle of either side and along the back. Again, I raised the wall by one tile, creating small interior corridors on either side of the stairs, and also placing stairs to access the raised section on either side of the defensive wall. Next, for the first floor walls. I chose to use Khitan for the first floor. It's a combo I've seen a few people use with both Nemedian and Arena, and it works really well. It's also probably my least used material palette, so it's nice to take the opportunity to use it. I built the walls 2 tiles high on this floor, though after the first tile I decided to fence off the defensive walls before continuing. I was initially going to use Nemedian fences for this, however they are still a bit too large for my liking, at least for this build, so I stuck with the far more lightweight arena fencing. I also included a simple room in this floor, and then I finished off the walls. Next, for the second floor. I built a small staircase and covered the walls with frontier ceilings, building another 1 tile high set of walls and a staircase crossing over the top of the previous one. I then capped off the walls again with frontier ceilings and built Khitan walls 2 tiles high, though I would later adjust this to facilitate a better roof design. Next, for the roofing. After I fenced off the second balcony, I built awnings to begin on a combination roof design. This went through a couple of different changes before I settled on the final iteration, which involved dropping the walls down to 1 tile high on the second floor, building ceilings to place rooftop pieces onto, and then raising a 1x1 of walls from the centre to place a rooftop cap onto. There were many different routes I could have taken this roof design, but I think this one is the best option. It's clean, understated, and has a little bit of personality without being too extravagant. Finally, I built the buttresses you saw on the blueprint earlier. The build could probably work without the buttresses if you're not a fan of them. They can overcrowd the exterior walls a little, but I think they work nicely for this build. It's all personal preference. I built them in a really simple fashion so as to not overcomplicate things, and that finished up the construction phase. Finally, when the shell of the build was done, it was then time to, of course, furnish. Approaching the build, I've added a small retaining wall and archway at the front, with a gate inside placed by using ghost mode to disable clipping. Inside the courtyard, I've included some crafting stations that I'm not able to place inside, like a blacksmith's bench, armourer, furnaces, tanner's table and a tannery, alongside some small storage and seating areas. Entering the castle, I've lit the build with wall lanterns and Khitan lamps. The first room is a small entrance hall decorated with some seating and cultural items like a gong, pottery, statues and a traditional Khitan zeng. The ground floor also includes a dining room with access to the rear staircase, a kitchen with a half and half raised floor, and also access to the defensive walls and their ground floor sections of their respective towers on the north and south side of the entrance hall. In retrospect, it might have been a good idea to include ladders up to the defensive walls. That would have made things flow a little bit better in terms of vertical traversability. Heading up the main staircase, this leads to the first floor where the residential quarters of the castle owner are. This area includes seating, decorative pieces, and also a small but luxurious bedroom. This space focuses on being as comfortable as possible, and access is provided mainly through the front stairs, with rear stair access for emergencies. There's also a balcony overlooking the courtyard, which of course is connected to the defensive walls that surround the inner keep. Heading up once more, we reach the top floor, which is a secure storage room for valuable or important resources. And there we have it, a jungle mini castle in the Exiled Lands. Thanks for watching. This build has actually gone through 3 separate redesigns, but honestly, I'm really happy with this build. Khitan is probably one of my least favourite sets in terms of flexibility, but it feels like it suits this build and I'm really quite pleased with how it came out. If you enjoy my content, all the links to my Twitch, Twitter, Discord, Patreon, Host Havoc affiliate page, NordVPN discount and NordPass discount are available in the description below. However, of course, you can simply just leave a like, a comment or subscribe. Any of those are very greatly appreciated. Patrons get a bunch of nice benefits, including sneak peeks of videos, your name in every video, custom made wallpapers in 1080p and 4K resolutions, full-size build blueprints, Discord roles and more. On that note, a massive thanks to our patrons Sadialot, Randar, Connor, Ivy, Torn, Ill-Fated, Coffeeman04, Marion Ladd, Alfric and Eagle Rose. As always, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.